Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Let's move straight to the front pages of the dailies. I'm starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with petrol above 500 naira per litre as subsidy removal takes effect. NNPCL confirms hike adjusts the pumps nationwide. Borno Yobe, most expensive states with 557 naira per litre. Lagos remains least with 488 naira per litre. The regulation will enhance growth that's coming from NAIT. Federal government meeting with NLC, TUC ends in deadlock. Meeting to reconvene on Sunday as Labour leaders meet Friday. Federal government should rehabilitate refineries that's coming from NECA. APC governors back Tinubu on subsidy removal, says Atiku Obi also promised same. You can see that story on page 5. And on page 9, we have Presidential Tribunal. Tinubu APC opposed tendering of evidence from BVAS. 10th National Assembly leadership, Omisore G6 meeting ends in deadlock. That can be seen on page 29 on sport. Gent rejects Galatasaray's 15 million euros offer for Gift Orban. Stories above on page 19, stock market investment sentiment softened to 0.06%. Bandits kill vigilante leader, 17 others in Zamfara. Meet Southern Middle Belt leaders to weave Nigeria together again, Agbakoba advises Tinubu. Jonathan, NPO, NPAN, Senate, Obaseki Mon Dokpesi. You can see that story on page 7. 10th National Assembly leadership, APC, Tinubu allegedly back out of Akpabio's endorsement. You can see that on page 9 of Vanguard newspaper. Away from there, let's move to the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with NNPCL fixes 488 naira to 557 naira per litre petrol price template. Price to fluctuate in accordance with market forces. NLC TUC demand return to old price. Government negotiation continues. You can see that on page 8. 200 reps backing me, says Abbas. Lukman slams party chair Adamu. That can be seen on page 26. Stories above. Tinubu promises to improve economy, cites young entrepreneurs. You can see that on page 28. Hearing in Labour Party, Obi petition stored. PDP forges ahead. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, national honors awardees to wait. That can be seen on page 5. Now let's move to the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with federal government Labour meeting deadlocked as fuel price is over 700 naira per litre. NLC kicks rejects a petrol price hike. Economic hardship will worsen, says marketers. PDP, Labour Party, all the slam federal government. And lastly, on the Punch newspaper, CBN multiple exchange rates may increase debt burden that's coming from World Bank. Now let's move to The Guardian. The Guardian is leading with fuel subsidy removal poses about $800 million palliative. Labour's next move as Nigerians brace for higher inflation. That can be seen on page 6. No work, no pay. Falana sues federal government over alleged unfair treatment of ASUU members. Panic in Lagos community over fuel leakage, broken pipeline. Stories above resetting Nigeria's foreign policy to be giant of Africa again. That can be seen on page 4. And lastly, on the Guardian newspaper, 26% of Nigerians financially literate as Botswana leads Africa. That can be seen on page 21 of the Guardian newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break as our guest will be analyzing the stories via Zoom. Welcome back. If you are just joining me, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Joining me this morning is Mr. Oludare Mayowa. He's the publisher of Global Financial Digest. Good morning, Mr. Mayowa.
Yeah, good morning. Glad to be here today.
Yes, thank you for joining me. All right, let me take you back to Monday. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he declared subsidy gone in his inaugural speech. Now, the new price template took effect yesterday as federal government meeting with NLC and trade union, that's TUC, on the issue ended in deadlock in Abuja. But I'd like to ask you, what do you think about the new for prices across the country.
Yeah, thank you very much. So when we look at the so-called subsidy removal, it's a done deal, so to say. We have been on this since the COVID period 2020 when the government said they have removed the subsidy and they announced the regulation of the market where they reduced the price of fuel. Then, unfortunately, this commodity is dictated by the price of the crude oil in the international market, and that's why we find ourselves. And the president Bola Tinubu has already promised that he's going to remove it. During the election when he was campaigning, that either we like it or not, he's going to remove it. So it's in fulfillment of his electionary campaign promise for Nigeria. That is where it is, and what they have done in the variety of the rate, it tells you the cost. Because normally in the part of the subsidy was to bear the cost of freight from the depot in Lagos to Maiduguri, that's the Yobe and the rest, and that's what the government is doing. So they are removing entirely all those supporting subsidy, which means that the consumer of petroleum in Yobe will pay for the cost of transporting from Lagos to Yobe and the rest of the country. That's why you have the price parity differently, in a way. That's what it is. That's why I found ourselves, and that's the reality on the ground today. And whatever the labor is doing today is like belated, so to say, because already government has already implemented the policy of subsidy removal. I think what the labor school, labor have been, let me say, they have been short-changed. They have been put in a difficult situation to negotiate, because they are going to negotiate not to reverse, probably reverse. So what are you going to do for the people, for the public, for the workers to ameliorate the pain? I think that's the stage they're going to be, because the government has already forced it's like a fait accompli on them, forced it on them, and now come and negotiate. That's where I look at it.
But do you think this is the right way to remove subsidy, seeing that the state of the economy in Nigeria?
But the truth is that what would be the right way? Either remove it now, remove it in December, we still going to face the same issue. I think what the president has done wrong was his immediacy. Probably one that they will have prepared the mind of Nigeria. Of course, prepare the mind of Nigeria. Probably say, okay, we are going to remove the oil subsidy in no distance future. We are putting in place a palliative to cushion the effect on the masses. Maybe we are bringing in so many public transport so that we can reduce cost of transport on the workers. We are doing this and this so that reduce the pains on the people. Government will have lined out those policy objectives to cushion the effect. Again, on the other hand, you look at it, if government announced ahead before he prepared it, there will be crisis. Probably the country will have been grounded down by now, and to prevent the government from implementing. And that was exactly what ex-president Muhammad Buhari tried to avoid by pushing the decision forward and now pushing on this new government. So we cannot, if we wait side by side, there's no good time to remove the oil subsidy.
But Mr. Laiwa, some people are of the opinion that they should have worked on Nigeria's the refineries across the country before the subsidy is removed.
Yes, well, I agree that we need to refine our product locally in the sense of it, because of the cost implication of foreign exchange reserve, on the foreign exchange reserve, on the freight and the rest. But they are going to be a little different. It's for if you have local refinery capacity, for example, it won't bring the price down to 200. It still be around 450, 470 or so. It still be with the same region. But what you are going to eliminate by that time is eliminating the cost of the shipping, cost of the demurrage, the tariff you are paying in port for importing it. But still you pay for freight, for moving from refinery to wherever depot you are moving it. So the price, for example, Lagos will have been buying for 400 per litre, and they are still going to be buying for 400, 500 and 500 plus outside Lagos. It will make a lot of difference. What that will have done is to guarantee the supply, because we are producing locally. We remove the timeline between the shipping from Europe or America to Nigeria and reduce it to minimum of few days. Those are the advantages we could probably grab from refining locally. And the other advantage by we are saving foreign exchange, trying to negotiate from M and the rest. Besides that, we are still going to pay the higher price for it, definitely. So it will remove it will give us a maximum advantage.
But there are some people who are still discussing that they want the price to be reduced. We're also hearing that this price is just going to be is based on NNPC, as other private fuel stations have the right to sell at their own rate. So how will this affect Nigerians?
Now let me tell you this. The what NNPC have done as is so important on the product is to give a price band to that you cannot sell above this rate, you can sell below this rate. They have put in they are putting all the allowances, like for example the margins for the fuel marketers. So they are saying there is a margin where you can sell it for, you can't sell it above it. So moving from here to Lagos, from Lagos to other part of the country, that's why they see the disparity in rate in the reason of it. And for me, like I said, yes, it's going to impact. Of course, cost of fare has already gone up. It's going to impact inflation, because inflation will jump up, to about 25% at the end of May, definitely. And we're going to see the impact on the all price of goods and services in the country. Everybody going to mark up their prices. But given some time, I think because of the mechanism of supply and demand, we will adjust and you see the balancing, the price side stabilizing. For example, those who are charging 1,000 naira for a route for now, as time goes on, the price will probably come back to 800, 700. Because there will be resistance from the populace. They are going to resist the price increase from the market and the rest. Eventually, people are going to adjust their finances, because if you are buying full tank before and you are using full tank for 1 month, people will park their car in the house and enter public transport. So that will reduce the consumption. The consumption will reduce drastically, and Nigeria will adjust, whether we like it or not, because I'm not seeing this government reversing itself and reducing the price of the commodity in the market. So Nigeria have to adjust to the system. They have to adjust to balance their finance and to ensure they survive the time.
Let's move away from that. President Bola Tinubu yesterday opposed the tendering in evidence of information that were extracted from the BVAS machines that were used for the conduct of the 2023 presidential election. Tinubu, he challenged the admissibility of certified copies of printout from the BVAS, which were brought before the presidential election petition court sitting in Abuja by the candidate of the opposition People's Democratic Party, that's Atiku Abubakar. What do you think about this?
Naturally, that's what we expect from somebody who's sitting on the throne, who somebody want to displace. It's like you are sitting on your seat now, somebody want to contest the seat with you. You throw in any legal means to destabilize the people, to discourage them, or to nullify their contention to that throne. And that's what the APC and the president is doing. And I'm not seeing anything unusual about it. They have to object. Even when there is a fact presented to them, they have to object to it. If there's a legal backing for that, they will do it. And that's what I'm expecting of them, really.
Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has filed a lawsuit against the federal government over alleged discriminatory, unfair, and illegal treatment of members of ASUU, that's the Academic Staff Union of University. Joined in the suit are also the Minister of Labour and Employment, the AGF, and also Accountant General of the Federation. What do you think about what Falana is doing?
Yeah, while I sympathize with Falana and his clients, that's the ASUU, on the action is taking, we want to look at it this way. It has to start somewhere. There's a law that says that there's an existing law that says no work, no pay. And somehow we have to implement it one day from somewhere. And it started from ASUU. It may be the turn of the Nigerian Medical Association, tomorrow. It may be the turn of other essential services in this country tomorrow. But right now, what the government is doing is to implement existing law to curb arbitrary jobs. You can imagine ASUU went to strike for 8 months or more and disrupted the academic session in university across the country. So something has to be done. For me, something has to be done by government. Government has to be decisive at a point in time to checkmate everybody just going on strike, especially when there's a law that says so, that if you don't work, you don't pay. And for me, you don't work for 8 months, for example, why do you want to receive pay? For me, so I side with the side of the law in the sense of it. Of course, lawyers have to make money, but even in face of contrary views. Yes, it's discriminatory. Because they have not applied to any other association or union, it doesn't make it discriminatory. If the NMA comes in tomorrow and they embark on long-term strike like ASUU are embark upon, government could as well say, look, we are implementing this citizen because it's existing law. Say, look, we are going to go ahead and implement this law against you. I think that will deter frivolous going on strike by people who are handling essential services in this country. For me, that's where I look at it.
All right, but with this no work, no pay policy, do you think ASUU members now can make demands?
I think there's so many other ways of pressing your demand rather than not disrupting the system. There are people's lives that have been disrupted by those 8-month strike, for example. There are students who couldn't go back to school because their life have been disrupted. There are people who died during the strike because they are outside the campus, they are doing other things, which result to their death. There are people a lot of number of people life have been winning. So why I sympathize with the ASUU for demanding their right is there's other means they can press in their demand. For example, they can go to court and sue the government for not implementing the right thing, for not do the right thing for them in terms of their demands, and they can take their case to court and so many other pressures. They can mount pressures on the National Assembly, the executive, and the rest in pressing out their demand rather than disrupting the entire system. For me, but beyond strike, there are still other subtle means of pushing your case and getting results.
Let's end this on a lighter note today with Mr. and Mrs. The first person speaking today is Mrs. Mrs. says, serves him right. Your friend planned to have a good time with a girl his daughter's age in a hotel, but the girl collected 300,000 naira from him and escaped through the restroom before the action could start. Ha 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 ha. And Mr. replied, I never liked the policy of pay before service. Wow.
The madam, Mrs. was just trying to give a signal to the husband and say, look, these are dangers if you go and play house. And just, women are very protective, territorial, so whatever she's doing is protecting her territory, which is her demand and trying to.
And Mr. replied with a banger, I don't like the policy of pay before service.
Of course, if you don't pay, they get help herself to the money now. So it's not you paying now, it's people just taking the money and you get away with it, you're not getting service. So that's what's happened, really.
All right, thank you very much.
Very funny and very good.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayo, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me today and have a lovely day.
Yes, and you too. And this is where we have to draw the curtain. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Do well to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. Have a lovely time.